All right. Let's get this set up. Give a little bit. I'm like 5 minutes early. What's up? Y'all get in here. Y'all say hello, please. You can. Thank you very much. My AirPods gonna work. Wait, AirPods, AirPods. Y'all please chime in when you step in here. I would greatly appreciate it very much. I'm gonna give it a few minutes. I got 4 minutes till 9 o'clock, so let some people gather up in here. I'm gonna be walking around doing some stuff, so y'all please excuse me. All right. All right. If you join the group, please make sure you say hello so I can recognize you and we get everything squared away here. All right. Get the lights fixed right. I got a little too bright. Yeah. All right. Couple more minutes. I'll be back. Had to change my wardrobe. Yep, yep, yep. Yes, sir. Mr. GMC, forest flag. Yep, forest flag. No star in the center. No star in the center. That's forest flag. Nathan Bedford Forest. Like one of the greatest Confederate generals of all time and in the military as well. They still study his tactics today in West Point because he was a tactical genius during the war. First of only two soldiers to make it from a private to a general in their time serving. All right, two people. Y'all make sure to chime in. Let me know you're here. Say hello, Mr. GMC, 1974. Nice to see you in here. So, all right, it is 9 o'clock. Just like I said, I'm gonna give it about 5 more minutes to see if we can get any more people in here. I'm not really expecting a whole slew of people to get in here, but I got some information that's gonna blow your mind. Yep, gonna blow your mind. But let's give it a little while. Uh, I don't remember the handle. Uh, from Kentucky. Yeah, 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 yeah. I remember. Yeah. Chris. I think Chris, is that correct? It's been a while. So, and my memory, my old age is not as sharp as it used to. I promise you that. I promise you. I do believe it's Chris though. Yeah, 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 yeah. I was right. I was right. Now, who we got two people in here. Who's the other one in here? Y'all make sure you chime in. Let me know you're in here. And if you got anything to say or any questions to ask while I'm going on, I'll try to answer them as I'm moving on along, or I'll try to answer them after I'm done. But I got and y'all gonna hear dogs barking because I got dogs in the house. They're not in here. You might even hear my old 22-year-old cat over there meow every now and then, but just pay them no mind. I might holler uh at the dogs. Oh, let me go find out what they're barking at. I'll be back. Give it a few more minutes. Barking at. All right. I ain't got no people in here. That's great. That's wonderful. All right. So I'm gonna go on and get into it. I ain't gonna sit here and wait for people to get in here. Um. Anyway, a little. I mentioned today when I got news that Tami Sawyer had been indicted. Now, Tami Sawyer, from what we understand, she's got a several count federal indictment against her: wire fraud, money laundering, um, conspiracy, facilitation to commit a felony, um, several counts of her indictment in federal court. First off, let me if people that don't know anything about Tami Sawyer, I'm going to give a little brief history about Tami Sawyer. Tami Sawyer, back in 2018, 2019, created a group out of Memphis called Take 'em Down 901. She pushed, she came out of virtually nowhere, all of a sudden showed up in Memphis and acted like she'd lived in Memphis her whole life when nobody had seen her or heard from her. She went to school in Memphis, but I think after she went to school in Memphis, she left Memphis and went to California, Washington, D.C., several different places. And all of a sudden, she shows back up in Memphis and creates this group, Confederate, or not Confederate, Take Them Down 901. They were pushing for all and any Confederate memorabilia, memorials, statues, or anything to be removed from the city of Memphis. And to make a long story short, she got what she wanted illegally because there was a state law in the state of Tennessee that they could not touch any Confederate monuments, memorials, statues, or anything unless there was approved by a committee in Nashville. Well, they went to the committee, uh, and they got denied. They went to the city of Memphis, went to the committee several times. If you hear me stop talking, I'm trying to read comments while I'm talking. It's hard. I can't chew gum and walk sometimes. But anyway, they went in front of the committee several times in Nashville to try to get the monuments removed legally, and the committee turned them down. So, what the city of Memphis conspired with Confederate, take them down 901, and created a group, organization, a nonprofit by some sort of statute in the state law or the city ordinance. They had to create a nonprofit organization could buy city property or be sold city property. Well, they created this group called Green Space. Green Space was just came up out of the blue, out of nowhere, didn't even exist before this time. And the city of Memphis, on the last day of the year before they took the Christmas break in 2017, they sold the park, Bedford Forest Park in downtown Memphis, Tennessee. They sold the park to Green Space, and immediately, within hours after the transaction took place, there was cranes on site. They ripped the Confederate statue, the Esquarian. I can't speak it. The square, the Esquarian statue, Aquarian or whatever. I can't even say it right now. Um, statue down off the pedestal. Now, this just wasn't a statue in the park. This was actually a grave site. Nathan Bedford Forrest and his wife were buried at that site, right next to the pedestal. So, like a thief in the night, Green Space and Tami Sawyer and the city of Memphis conspired to break Tennessee law and rip down Nathan Bedford Forrest's statue, which was basically his grave marker, his headstone, which was illegal. Several people within the community were called on as far as leaders to try to put to a stop to it. Well, they tucked their tail and didn't say anything. State Highway Patrol was contacted to come into the city of Memphis and put a stop to it. And the governor at the time, Bill Haslam, called off the state troopers to and told them not to let it happen. Basically, they just basically put their hands up in the air, even though it was against state law, and let it happen. Let it happen. So on and so forth. So let's move on up to uh 2018 or no 2019. 2019, after several legal battles between the SCV and the city of Memphis, uh, the SCV gained possession or was granted possession of all Confederate memorabilia that was taken down on December the 21st of 2017. So the agreement was in the settlement that they had to remove Nathan Bedford Forrest's grave and his wife's grave that was under the statue in Forest Park in downtown Memphis. They had to remove the entire plaza, the pedestal, the graves, and everything from the park. They renamed the park from Nathan Bedford Forest Park a few years earlier to Health Science Park illegally. So, after they got it all removed and everything like that, SCB took possession of the statue, and luckily the statue was saved and is in possession, and it eventually will be re-erected up in Columbia, Tennessee, at the headquarters of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. All right, so in July of 2019 was when the re or the re where they exhumed Forrest's body, and a crane was brought in and hired by the Sons of Confederate Veterans to remove the granite stones around the pedestal. Okay, I was there. I was asked to be there um, because I had fought so hard against the city of Memphis. Uh, Organized rallies and protests about the removal. What's up, King of Memphis? Appreciate you being here, bud. Um, I organized several huge events along with the highwaymen of Arkansas to come into Memphis and protest the illegal removal of the statue. I organized, I think, at least four protests and rallies in Memphis during that time within a year span after they removed everything Confederate, everything Southern, anything to do with Southern history from the city of Memphis. I cost the city of Memphis over $5 million to with these protests and rallies, as far as like overtime for police officers. The first rally we did, there was over 400 people that showed up. We did a ride around Memphis with our flags flying. There was FBI there. There was helicopters left and right. There was police everywhere. They had the whole entire park cordoned off in downtown. They had a 4 block uh, no go zone in downtown around Forest Park. They had dump trucks parked at every road going into the park area to keep from any kind of people driving through the crowds or anything like that. And it was a grandiose day that day. We did a big ride around 240 Loop, had over 400 people there. It was a great event. Um, but we cost the city that day alone $2.3 million. And the three other rallies I organized in Memphis between 2018 and 2020 cost them an extra three and a half, if that, if not more. So I personally organized rallies to push back against the communist narrative of removing our Southern culture and history from the city of Memphis. So the day that we were out removing the pedestal and the plaza, working on exhuming Nathan Bedford Forrest's bodies and his wife's body to be moved, Tami Sawyer came out to the park that day to give an interview because every news channel in Memphis area and surrounding was there, filming, recording us doing our work. We were peaceful. We were minding our own business, wasn't bothering anything. Um, uh, the birthday event, I would say probably cost, I wouldn't say maybe a million, because they had so much law enforcement. They had FBI come in. They had, I mean, it was a lot. Uh, Now the rally we had, the 2 day rally we had, that was a couple mil right there. Um, but we did a lot big bait and switch on them on that deal. But that was a good. It was good to see them pay in some sort. But let me get back to where I was talking about. Well, at the time there was a 6 foot chain link fence all the way around the pedestal of where Nathan Bedford Forrest's grave was, and it is military tradition to fly the flag of the soldier that's being exhumed uh, while his body is being dug up. I mean, that's just military order. And so I had put 5 or 6 Confederate flags, not the forest flag, but this is the forest flag behind me. But the St. Andrew's cross is basically the same thing, except it has a star in the center. The forest flag doesn't have the star in the center because his soldiers was his center star. So anyway, while I was there, Tami Sawyer's fat ass comes walking up there. And soon as she walks up there, she goes directly for the flags that are on the fence, jerks them down, and throws them on the ground and spits on them, on one of them. But she went around and went to every flag and ripped it off and threw it on the ground. And I was there working, and I was like, hell no. And then she turns around and starts calling us all white supremacists and racist and everything in the book you could name, while we're sitting there minding our own business, doing what the city of Memphis wanted to happen. And she wanted to come out there and try to instigate and provoke us. Well, she provoked me. OK Rack. And OK Rack is man enough that he's not going to be sit there and talked to like a chump by anybody and be disrespected while I'm trying to do what I'm trying to do. So she sits there and does that. And I walk around and I go around and pick up all the flags that she threw down on the ground. And one was probably 6 feet away from her. I picked the flag up and I told her and I pointed at her and I said, I'll tell you what, if you were a man, I would be whooping your ass right now in front of these cameras and everything. And I turned around and I walked off, and that's all I said. And as soon as I said that, she says, oh, pointed to the cameras. Y'all heard that. Y'all heard that. Y'all heard that. He's making threats to me. He's making threats. Well, you're talking in the third person, not a direct threat by no means. Well, good evening, Mr. Daniel Brown or Denise Brown. I'm sorry. I got bad eyes. Them letters are small. How you doing, Denise Brown? Anyway, she tried to tell the news that I'd made a threat against her. Well, that's the furthest thing from the truth. All I did was make a statement, and I went back around the fence, and I was going to not say anything else. I was just going to make my point clear and go on about my business of removing Nathan Bedford Forrest from the park. Well, she starts railing and ranting and talking about how everybody is a communist and or a racist Klan member, all this other crap. And when nobody said anything to her, and well, okay, Rack, no, I'm fixing to ruin this bitch's day. Yeah, she was going to go up there in front of them news cameras and gloat and boast about how she accomplished taking down and attacking dead people in their graves, and how proud she was of the moment and everything like that. So you know what old K-Rack did? K-Rack was on the backside of that chain link fence. At the same time, let me mention I had a broken wrist and my left arm was in a cast at the time. And so K-Rack was fixing to heckle the shit out of Miss Tami Sawyer while she was giving her interview to the news. So what did K-Rack do? K-Rack got over there and he started talking shit to Tami Sawyer, talking about how she wasn't nothing but a fat communist. All right. And she's fat, buddy. I'm talking about big woman, big black woman. So she gets back there and she's like, I just want to just explain to everybody at the news that this is a proud moment. I was like, and I started saying, no, this is a communist moment. This is a communist moment. So she starts talking about, well, they called Martin Luther King a communist. They called Ida B. Wells a communist. And every time she named off somebody, I would say, you're a communist. You're a communist. This is a communist moment. Y'all shouldn't even want to have to listen. She shouldn't even have the right to say anything whatsoever to boast about removing a dead man from his grave because she don't like them being there. So anyway, I heckled her and I heckled her while she sat there and tried to give her interview and everything. So I had those flags in my hand. So I start walking behind her singing Dixie as loud as I could. Oh, I wish I was in the land of cotton, when our times of right forgotten, look away. And I was singing loud and proud and everything, waving that Confederate flag around right behind her while she was trying to give her interview. And buddy, she could not handle it. She could not handle it. I heckled her fat ass for a good 15 minutes until she finally gave up and boohooed and cried and left, run off crying because she didn't get her little 15 minutes on the spotlight in front of all the news cameras there in Memphis, Tennessee that day. So, what happened after that? Well, Tammy got on the news and was talking about how I made threats and everything, and did this and I did that, which was completely false. The police were there. It was all recorded on news cameras that were all there, and she was all talking about how she was going to get me arrested. She was going to get me arrested. Bada this one. I didn't ever touch her. I didn't never do anything to her, but heckler's veto. You got a right to freedom of speech in this country. Yeah, you sure do. And the communists do it to us all the time, heckle veto us if we're trying to make a speech or say anything, or even stand there with a Confederate flag. They want to try to shut us down. Well, I was going to shut her down. And guess what? After she stirred up a lot of dust and went and found the sheriff's deputy from the Shelby County Sheriff's Department that wasn't even there, didn't even witness the supposed crime of assault, got an affidavit of complaint filed against me, and I got charged with misdemeanor assault by Tami Sawyer. Now, I live in the state of Mississippi. This all happened in the state of Tennessee. Well, misdemeanors don't transfer over state lines. It's just like if I got a DUI in Tennessee and I didn't show up for court, they're not going to come down here to Mississippi and arrest me for a bench warrant over a misdemeanor. No, they're not. But unfortunately, because of Tami Sawyer's political ties, they came and raided my house. They sure did. They showed up 5, 6 officers deep from the county that I live in, sheriff's department, with AR-15, surrounded my house. I wasn't even there. My mother was here visiting, and it caught her completely off guard. Well, no, it didn't completely catch her off guard because you know why? Because I had gotten picked up by my best friend, Mr. Ray Duncan, and we left to go somewhere. And on the way out, we saw all the sheriff's deputies rolling in the neighborhood. And I'm like, oh, Ray, Uncle Ray, uh, there's something up. I guarantee you they're going to my house. And he said, I'm like, I guarantee you they're going to my house. So we went to the gas station, filled up with gas, came back and drove through the neighborhood, passed by the house. Lo and behold, my yard's full of damn cop cars. And I called my mother on the way to the gas station. I'm like, hey, you're finna get a knock on the door. Oh, who is it? I said, it's the sheriff's department. They're coming and looking for me. And she's like, And I'm like, yep, they are coming to get me. And she's like, well, what do you want me to do? Well, you just tell them I'm not there and I ain't been there for months. And that's exactly what she did. I said, do not let them in the house. They don't have a search warrant. They cannot step foot in that house. Do not let them come in the house. And she did exactly that. She told them I was not there. I wasn't there for a while and they are not supposed to come in the house. And they didn't. Well, they didn't get me. So I thought it would be the best idea that I go ahead and turn myself in. So 2 or 3 days later, I turned myself in. Go to court. I'm trying to go through this because I'm trying to get to the juicy part here in just a second. All right. So all that happened. I got arrested. I had to spend 16 hours at the Shelby County Jail at 201 Poplar. And I finally got out. Next day, I went and hired an attorney, one of the best attorneys you can buy in Memphis area. And I fought it. And 2, 3 months later, after going to court 2 or 3 times on these bullshit charges, my charges were dropped by the judge because lo and behold, it never was assault. I never assaulted the woman by no means. I just heckled her. I used my language and my words to hurt her feelings. And just like any and all other liberals out here in this world and these communist pieces of shit, if they don't like something that happens, they think you should be arrested for it. No matter what, if you just say some words that hurt their feelings or you got a different opinion. So anyway, that cost me about $6,000 to get that taken care of. Even though I knew I was completely innocent, I had to pay for an attorney. I had to bond out of jail. I had to do all this other stuff, all on a fake bullshit ass lie that with all the cameras there and all the news there that witnessed, police were there, the city of Memphis or the university police were there. There was 5 police officers at the park that heard and seen the whole thing happen. And they didn't charge me that day, but lo and behold, Tami Sawyer with her political ties got me arrested. And I had to, go through the rigors of the court system. And I got found that it didn't ever happen, and charges got thrown out. And after all this happened, I called every lawyer from Louisiana all the way up to Missouri trying to file a lawsuit against the city of Memphis and Tami Sawyer. Nobody would touch it with a 10-foot pole because of the racial divide going on in the country at the time. So what did I do? Well, I've studied a lot of things about Nathan Bedford Forrest. I've studied his tactics, his brilliance on the battlefield and everything. And it sort of zoomed and incorporated itself in my mind and my memory. And I've used some of those tactics in some of my rallies and some of my heckling or whatever you want to call it. And I've used it. And guess what? I continue to use that knowledge to this day. So, a few weeks later, after I done figured out that I will not be able. You're right. She isn't even from Memphis. After she got forced to take it down, Daniel Davis, she moved off to Washington, D.C. Sure did. And then when she came back to Memphis, she came back and ran for the county commissioner. Guess what? She got elected county commissioner. And that's the position she had when she got me arrested. She was county commissioner. So she was a public official. So a public official has all, you don't have no protection whatsoever as a public official in public. A person can rally against you, talk shit about you all they want to, but you're a public official. So oh, anyway, a few weeks later, after I realized there was nothing I was going to be able to do, I couldn't sue the city. I couldn't do anything against Tami Sawyer for her falsely accusing me of assault and throwing me in jail, costing me that $6,000. I decided that there was something I needed to do, and I didn't know what to do. But one night, I don't know if y'all know who Tim Pool is, but he has a channel on several different platforms called Timcast IRL. And I got hooked on Timcast IRL during the shit that happened up in Kenosha, Wisconsin with Kyle Rittenhouse. And I, started watching Timcast IRL. And one night there was a guest on his show. His name was Cash Patel. Cash Patel is from a federal prosecutor that worked for the district attorney's office in Washington, D.C. Well, he was there talking about people getting their rights violated by these communists, Antifa, and everything like that, and police not doing anything about it. And he was sitting there talking about this matter, and boy, did it strike home with me. Cash Patel had created a hotline that you could call, and if your constitutional rights were violated by such people like Tami Sawyer, you would call, and they would look into it and possibly try to help you out legally. Well, guess who Cash Patel is today? Cash Patel is the leading law enforcement in the federal fucking government of the United States. Yep, sure is. He's the head honcho of the FBI. Well, after I called and talked to a young lady that from that phone number that he gave in that interview on Timcast IRL, I informed them of what was going on in Memphis and how the cronies got together in Memphis and illegally destroyed and removed the Confederate memorial to Nathan Bedford Forrest, or his headstone. Yep, I sure did. Well, at that time, Cash Patel was not working for the federal government. He was an independent lawyer and everything. He was a huge Trump supporter and everything. But when Trump got elected in 2024, he made him the director, the head honcho of the FBI. And when I talked to them on the phone, they said to me that if they would get this information and get it all put together and look into it the best they could, and they told me that if Trump got elected, that if Cash Patel got into the position that he could get in to do something about it, he would look into it further. And yes, Cash Patel was put in as director of the FBI. So, what happened in 2024? Trump got elected. Cash Patel became the director of the FBI. And guess who I got a phone call from 2 months after the election? Cash Patel. Sure did. Cash Patel called me and he says, we're looked into what happened in Memphis and with Tami Sawyer, and we will do a full investigation of Tami Sawyer. Yes, sure did. And he says, we won't probably be able to give you all the details, but we will try to keep you informed about what is going to happen. So 3 weeks ago, and I've had to keep this quiet. And boy, you don't know how bad I wanted to just spread the word about what was going on and who I'd talked to and who I'd been informed by. But Cash Patel, his office contacted me about 3 weeks ago and said, well, there's a secret indictment fixed to be handed down in Memphis. They wouldn't tell me who it was for or who it was to, but they said you'll be very interested and pleased to find out once you get the news. And that's the last time I heard from them. Well, today, good old Tami Sawyer has been federally indicted by with a secret indictment. So they did it the smart way. Now, most of y'all know throughout the country, the National Guard has been in Memphis for the past few months. Well, yeah, the National Guard needed to come to Memphis because crime was so outrageous. But in the meantime, not just the National Guard came into Memphis, but the FBI came into Memphis. And the National Guard was a smokescreen to cover the FBI's investigation of the corruption of the city of Memphis and its ties to Nashville at the time and the governor's office. So, this whole time for the past 6 months, I would say the National Guard has been in Memphis. There's been a deep and heavy investigation into the city of Memphis and Tami Sawyer and Van Turner and Jim Strickland. Tami Sawyer is not the only one that's going to be indicted. I guarantee you this. There is going to be other people that were involved with the corruption and the total disregard for the rule of law by the FBI. Yes, there's going to be several more indictments coming down. And it's not just going to stop in Memphis, it's going to be going to Nashville. And all the politicians and all the people that were involved and all the bullshit that happened back in from 2017 up to 2020. Yep, sure is. So Tami Sawyer's ass is cooked because on a secret indictment, how it works is they don't let you know that you're being investigated. They try to keep it very, very low key. Even the news in Memphis was caught off guard by the announcement of this indictment. A secret indictment is they are investigating you without pressing charges against you so they can gather more evidence to have a case against you once they do indict you. And once you get indicted on a secret indictment, you can pretty much put it in your pipe and smoke it. Your ass is done. Your ass is done. So now I'm not going to sit here and try to boast and say that it was all me. It was all me that got all this investigation started or anything like that, or it was all me that 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 created all this investigation of her and all the other city officials in the city of Memphis. But I think I helped get it started. Yes, I did. I feel like I did. They informed me, let me know. So here we are. Here we are. We got it done. We got it done. I've been sitting back, keeping quiet, not saying a word to anybody about it because I was told not to say anything. And now the indictment has been handed down, and now I can tell everybody. So there you go, Tami Sawyer, you fat communist. You're going to get what you deserve. As they say, karma is a bitch and revenge is best served cold. Well, here's you a big old fat plate of it, you fat commie bitch. You want to try to ruin me and file false charges against me and cost me money and everything like that? Yeah, well, in the long run, your big bug eyes are going to be a whole lot more bug eyed. For sure. While you sitting in federal prison, rotting your ass away for all the corruption, the fraud, the money laundering, the conspiracy, the facilitation of felonies that you and several of your communist cronies did in the city of Memphis. And your time is coming. Your time is coming. Yep. Your time is coming. And like I said, I'm not going to sit there and bow my chest out and say I was the one that did it all. I was the one that did it all. The FBI did it all. I just led them to the prey. I put the dogs on the scent, and they went after her ass, and they got her. So toodaloo, Tami Sawyer, because your political career is finished. Finished. You ain't gonna be able to run for office sitting in federal prison. No, you're not. And all your cronies that's going to be sitting up in there with you are not going to be able to hold office or run for office ever again, which that's the way it should be. You communist piece of shit. So thank you, Cash Patel, for living up to what your word that you told me or your office told me that y'all was going to look into it. Well, you did, buddy. You did. You did it. So toodaloo, Tami Sawyer. Maybe once you get out of prison, you might be able to tie your own fucking shoes. You might be able to stop that gravitational pull around your ass, your fat ass. Yep. And those bug eyes, they're going to have to tape them back into your head because the shit's fixing to hit the storm for you, young lady. I don't even want to call you a lady. You're a communist. You're not a lady. You're a communist. So, yeah, there you go. There you have it. That's what happened. That's what I did. And like I said, revenge is best served cold. So, there you go, folks. I don't know what's going to happen in the next few months, but I know Tami Sawyer ain't going to have time to be stirring up dust and bullshit like she did back in 2017. Chan, I don't think I have to answer that question. That's my business, buddy. Yeah. Well, you sound like a prejudiced bigot to me, Chan. I don't even know who you are. I know you're probably some commie that's done jumped in here and your feelings are all hurt and you're blowing snot bubbles right now because I'm wearing 9th of April Forest on my shirt and I got Confederate flags and oh my, it took the Confederate flag. It hurts my feelings. Hurts my feelings. Oh, you little sissy baby. Go suck on your mama's tit. Anyway, I've been trying my best. I've been very stoic. Yep. I try to stay very stoic. But after today, after uh finding out about this indictment being handed down and being able to talk about something that I've been keeping to myself for almost 2 years now. I didn't even really think it was ever going to happen because I haven't heard from him until like 3 weeks ago. I thought that, nothing was going to happen. I mean, I was happy that, Trump got elected. And when Cash Patel got nominated as director of the FBI, I'm sitting there thinking, man, please go through with what you told me you was going to look into. And lo and behold, he did. So once again, thank you very much, Mr. Cash Patel. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. Maybe after all these communists are pulled out of office and sitting in federal prison, the city of Memphis will be able to regain its glory it once had. Because Memphis was, when I first moved to this area, I loved Memphis. I loved it to death. I loved the culture. I loved the music. I loved the food. I loved everything about Memphis. And I've lived here for over 20 years. But now, ever since 2018, 2017, Memphis is 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 terrible. It's a terrible city. And hopefully after these crony communist piece of shit politicians that run the city of Memphis get all sent to prison and people that really need and care and worry about the city of Memphis and its citizens will actually do something for the city's citizens of Memphis. What's up, Kanisha? I hope I'm saying that right. I apologize if I don't. Hey, Janet, how you doing? So, um, Anybody got any questions or anything, please chime in. Let me know. I'll try to see if I can answer them or anything like that. But you can go on YouTube and look up Tami Sawyer, Nathan Bedford Forest Park, K-Rack Johnson, any of those names or anything like that. You can go on YouTube and you'll see where the incident happened. And, you'll see me back there walking back there, waving the flag and singing Dixie Boy. I mean, it was all, I mean, I was the hottest thing in Memphis, Tennessee for about 2 weeks on the news because that's all they would talk about on the news in Memphis after the incident at Forest Park happened. Yep. I even did an interview. They came down here to Mississippi and did an interview at one of the city parks nearby. uh yeah, she's toast. She's cooked. She's cooked. And buddy, yeah, like I said, revenge is best served cold. And all I did was make a phone call. That's all I did. But I put the hounds on the scent, buddy. I put the hounds on the scent. And as soon as Cash Patel got put in the office as FBI director, he went after. He went after. Sure did. And then they come into the city of Memphis. Sent the National Guard was sent into Memphis to help with the crime. But in the meantime, the FBI was here too, buddy. And they've been digging, 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 digging. And they done dug up some shit. Sure have. Yep. Van Turner, you better be leaving the country, buddy, because your ass is fixing to get indicted too. Jim Strickland, Bill Haslam, all these people. Yep, he is going to get y'all's ass, and y'all are going to be sitting in prison. Sure are. Sure, yeah. Well, if he's an alcoholic, he's a damn good alcoholic that does his damn good job as FBI director. You can claim, make all kind of accusations you want to about him, but as an FBI director, he's done a fabulous job. Has done a fabulous job. So hate him, talk shit about him all you want to, but that's your opinion. And, that is your opinion. And everybody's welcome to their opinion, but that don't mean I have to agree with it. So that's the big news I wanted to hold out for y'all. What's up, Caitlin? How you doing? Nice to meet you. I'm glad you joined in. But any of y'all Sawyer supporters in here jumping in, I hope all these Sawyer supporters get your little feelings hurt, and y'all in there having your little cry circles and hugging each other and telling each other it's going to be okay. Because hell, you might be getting federally indicted too, depending on what your role is during all that ordeal. Hunter Dempster, I ain't heard from Hunter Dempster in forever. And he was one of the number one minions for Tami Sawyer when she was running amok around Memphis. So where's Hunter Dempster at? Where's he at? Where's he been? I haven't seen him in a while. I haven't seen him. What happened to you, Hunter? Did you get scared? Like that day he was at the park and I said your street name and everything and you freaked out. We're not in a cult. I'm not in a cult. I'm an open mind, free minded man that makes my own decisions. I'm not being influenced by anyone besides my own logic and wisdom. So there you go. Metra Pharaoh. I'm sure you're a communist, hammer and sickle, flag flying SOB like all the other commie pieces of shit. The only good communist is dead communist. So, I'm sure your feelings are getting all hurt too. You probably get mad and stomping your feet and blowing snot bubbles, but it's a good thing to be an American. It's especially a good thing to be a Southern American. Damn right. I'm proud to be Southern. I'm proud of my heritage. I'm proud of my history. And I will not and never will shed my pride for some political correctness or some communist ideology. You can kiss my white, lily white, honky ass because I don't care. Go fly your hammer and sickle and read your Karl Marx books about his nasty ass, non-job having ass and everything. Wanted to live off the government. Communists, they think you shouldn't own property. The personal property does not exist in communism. It's all owned by the state. You're sitting there supposed to be sucking off the tit of the government. Government provides you with everything: your car, your home, your food, your groceries. That's why most communist countries are either starving to death or they're so suppressed by their governmental communist regime that they have no idea what real freedom is like China. Yeah. So I hope y'all have enjoyed my little story tonight. And I hope, Tami Sawyer, your ass sits in prison, you bug eyed bitch, for a long, long, long time. Yeah, you might have costed me about $5,000, $6,000. But girl, I'm gonna tell I don't even want to call you. You commie piece of shit. You fixing to spend a whole lot more money and time than I ever did with them false ass accusations that you tried and got me arrested for and tried to get me convicted of. But luckily, the judge was smart enough to see through all the bullshit. So, like I said, revenge is best served cold, and you got a fat, cold, ice cold dish of it today, bitch. So enjoy that jail cell. You better enjoy your little bit of freedom that you have left, because you ain't got very long. And within a year, your ass will be in prison, sitting behind them cell in the jail cell with your other fat commie buddies, communist pieces of shit. It's all you are, is a communist pieces of shit. I've seen pictures of her in Russia with a hat on that has a hammer and sickle on it. Oh, another thing that I know about Tami Sawyer is Tami is a full-fledged member of the Democratic Socialist Party of America, which is basically a pseudo communist party. Yeah, full-fledged communist party. She was getting all her money from Washington D.C. to, and all her campaign funding came from Washington D.C. on all the campaigns that she ran in the city of Memphis. And then once she accomplished her goal that she was sent down here by the Democratic Socialist Party of America to take down everything and anything Confederate, she got a big fat bonus. And what did she do with her big fat bonus? She went and got a lap band surgery on her fat ass to try to lose weight, because I hurt her feelings so bad that day at the park by challenging her to a shoe tying contest. Yeah, yeah. Got that bonus money for accomplishing her goal that she was sent down here for. Now, I hope you enjoyed all that fraudulent and money laundering and wire fraud and all that shit that you've been involved in, because now your ass is cooked like a pig in a blanket. And boy, you is a pig. You a big, fat, bug-eyed, freckle-faced, mole-faced pig. Commie pig. So thank y'all for watching. I appreciate y'all tuning in. And like I say on everything I do, God bless Dixie. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. Appreciate all y'all watching. Thank y'all very much. I'm fixing to get off here. I've had a long 12-hour day at work, and I'm fixing to go my butt to bed. And I'm going to sleep like a damn fat baby tonight, because I know Tami Sawyer's going to jail. She's going to prison. No doubt. I guarantee you, Tami Sawyer is going to prison. You are. So, hope all your little buddies, your commie buddies in Memphis see this, and they gonna get all their little feelings hurt and their panties put in the wad, and they're gonna stomp their feet, blow snot bubbles all night long. They probably already doing it right now. Yep. So, karma's a bitch. Karma's a bitch. So, you never let your enemies know your next move. And so that's why I've been quiet about it for over 2 years, 3 years now. Sure have. Don't know your next move. Well, I really didn't know what the next move was going to happen. I just contacted Cash Patel and let him know what was going on. And thank God he got put in office as director of the FBI, because he followed through. He followed through on it. He sure did. Oh, Cash Patel. Gotta admire. His parents are from India. He's an Indian. He's brown skin and a hell of a damn FBI director. My salute to Cash Patel. All right. I got to get off here. Got to go work another 12 hours a day, which you communists don't know nothing about. You don't know nothing about working. You just worry, make think do nothing but think about how much the government's going to take care of you. So y'all go suck on that government tit. Good night. God bless Dixie.